So you guys looking to take a set of full doors like this and make a set of half doors like this? It's very easy. I'll show you how to do it step by step, all the way through, beginning to end, starting right now. No thrills. We're just gonna start freaking getting into this. Show you the tools that you need. You need a tape measure. You need a permanent marker. You need some masking tape. Some sanding discs, one old, one new. It doesn't really matter. You're just gonna be sanding some sheet metal. Gonna need a grinder. You can use a plasma cutter. I got a plasma cutter here, but I'll show you how to do it with a grinder because not everybody's got a plasma cutter. So we'll do it with the grinder, at least on this first one. And then the second one, off camera, I'll do it with the freaking, plasma cutter. Anyways. So some other stuff you're gonna need, diamond plate. Interior door panels are made out of diamond plate, at least that's what I use. And then some 16 gauge steel plate. I'm pretty sure you can get away with just one sheet, 2x2. You can get it from like Home Depot, Lowe's sells that stuff. But then you need some 1-inch wide angle iron by like 3 feet. Okay guys, so we get right into the layout. So inside the door right here, and I'll show you a little bit better once we have the door cut, but there's a lever that moves like this. So you need that 3/32 cable to be able to attach to that lever and move it this way. I don't want to have to work around this door handle right here, so we're going to cut it out. So looking inside the door, about where all the mechanisms are, come over, I'm thinking like 5 3/4. And one thing about this is there is absolutely no right or wrong. This is just how I do it. So whether you want to cut straight through or not, make it easier on yourself, you do you, boo. You know what I mean? But then we use any straight lines within the door to measure off of. So we already know, measuring from the door in there, how high up on your leg we want it to go. So we're gonna come up 4.5 inches. We measure on both sides and stretch it out as far as you possibly can to both sides, give you a good straight edge. Then we still have to maintain these hinges over here. So we can't go any below this. So we'll come right here and then we'll come in, and I already measured it out, how I kind of wanted the angle. We'll see how that looks with the tape on it, but it's 7 3/4 of an inch from the edge of the door in, and that's where I'm going to make my angled cut. So let's get right into the layout of it, and we'll put some tape on it. So let's start laying some of this tape out. Fairly easy. Just go from one mark to the next over here. And always remember, these doors are literally going to get hit by rocks. So any imperfections, you're not going to see it at 25 miles an hour. You know what I mean? Like hauling the mail, all right? So we go from our mark up here where we wanted to go. Down to our mark right there. And then we'll make an angled cut in here. So let's actually make it to where it's matchable on both doors. So we'll come in, let's say 7.5 inches. Put a mark right there. So then we come from our mark up here down to our mark right there. Oh. Mark like that. And then we come across the top, up in there. Told you I wanted to leave that door handle out. So put it on our marks right there. And that is a quick layout of how the door is going to get cut. So what we'll do is we'll come through here with the razor knife, and I'll actually cut this tape out in here, anywhere where it's not going to be used, especially up on this upper section, because this is actually going to come all the way through to this tape line, down, around, and up. And we'll lose that whole this top section of the door. On the inside, so you don't have to worry about minute changes from the inside to the outside. You don't want to be like an inch out, but if you're like, you know, quarter of an inch out from the outside to the inside, it can be rectified and fixed with the angle iron that's going to go in there. You want it as close as possible, but remember, it's for a rock crawler. It's not that big of a deal. So that's just so I don't get confused in how it's going to get cut. But we are just going to come straight through right here from this point to here, down to here, over to there and up. Okay? Let's get to cutting. Okay guys, when it comes to laying the inside out, all I do is look down through the holes that are in here and kind of find where I can see my line, and then just mark a mark, and then take your angle iron, lay it out on the door, put it on your marks, mark a line as best you can. It's like I said, it's not real crucial because you can kind of fudge this around in there and make up some difference on the inside. This stuff in here is all rough, so you're literally just going to be welding this angle iron on the inside where you can. Where you can't, I mean, it is what it is, you know what I mean? So now that we got all this marked out, cue the time lapse, we start cutting the inside. So we got most of the initial layout done. It's pretty rough. We're gonna have to come in here and use that sanding disc and sand down this. Try not to thin the metal out any more than you have to, because it's gonna make it harder to weld. But you can see with no support in here how flimsy this is. That's not gonna work for us. That's why you gotta build a box out of angle iron and weld it in here. The 93 4Runner, the second gen 4Runner doors have this metal piece in here that we're gonna have to kind of work around. That wasn't in the first gen doors, and you can kind of see I did bust out the plasma cutter and cut some of the brackets off in there, but you can still cut it with the grinder wheel. Back in here, this is your latch system. So this is how this works. So this needs to pull forward to unlock the door, to unlatch the door from the inside, right? So what you need to do is when we build this up right here, see how it's all concaved in here? So we're gonna have to kind of build something up in here with some angle iron or something, and hook this cable. We'll take this cable and run it through here. You can make an eye back here that's sticking through the door like this, and make another eye so you can get your hand on it and it doesn't go back through the door. And that's what you pull on to unlatch the door. You can do it 100 different ways. I've seen some guys take the factory door latch from the inside and they'll put it down inside the door. I don't waste a lot of time on it because it's a rock crawler and I don't want to spend hours fabricating something to finish this door and have it just get impacted by a rock, and then it's all null and void anyways. So let's get to putting some angle iron in here, and then we'll start putting the sheet metal on the top. Well, we kind of skipped forward a little bit. I forgot to freaking record. But build you a rectangle like this out of your 1-inch angle iron, okay? Then start going through and taking a clamp. Take a clamp like this, clamp the inside down. Make sure you get this set where you want it. Make sure it looks level, like through the seam right there. That's what I was talking about earlier, where you can make minute changes, and you'll see how it kind of sticks up back here. It's no big deal, okay? Because the inside door panel is going to come up, and then when we cut this top plate, we're going to make it to where it sticks past this to make sure it fucking comes in contact with the interior door panel, okay? But it's just real simple. We had to notch this one out to make it around these tubes right here and right here. So we had to notch the inner angle iron out, and then we'll take some more angle iron and we'll come up right here and right here. And we won't come across right here just because it's going to get in the way of this. I mean, you can and kind of box this in just a little bit. And then up here in the front, we will come up just till it starts to make its curve and box this in to where it supports this, because this is where your hinges are attached, right? You don't want this prying on just little spot welds through here. But as you go through here, just kind of pick a good distance and just start spot welding it in there, and then let the sheet cool unless you're not worried about it. You know what I mean? It's a freaking rock crawler. So like if you just want to buzz, you know, short little beads in here, that's cool too. I mean, it is what it is. So once we get this done, then we'll take and grind it all smooth, like grind all the spot welds down, and then we'll come back in with some Bondo and Bondo over it. So it's not crazy, you know. You could even just grind it smooth and spray paint it if that's what you're into. So we'll keep working on this, and next time you see it, we'll have these interior pieces done. So right on. So if you're using diamond plate in here on the interior door panel, it's going to be sitting on all these imperfections, and it's going to have all these spots in here where it's not going to sit down. So when you measure your top plate, you need to put whatever you're going to use as your interior door panel. You can see how there's a gap in there. So take your tape measure, measure it up, measure it out to be 5 1/8. So that's what we'll cut our top piece to, and then we'll cut everything out the same. So this will be 5 1/8 as well, right in here, and then we'll just trace around this to get this shape, and then same with the back in here. We'll trace around it, get the shape that we're looking for, and then we'll throw it on. So we got the rear plate done. So on a 2nd gen 4Runner, 24-inch plate's not enough to reach all the way to the end, but we'll weld that in there, weld the seam up, right in the front plate. Go on there something like that. You weld it through there. On the back side back here, there's a little bit of cleanup left to do, but it's all good. Amanda's over here going to Pound Town, pulling the seats out, getting it all ready for a cage. Pull that console. Marlin Crawler should be sending the stuff to take the slop out of this. Hopefully it's not something major. Doubtful, but I'm in the process of freaking eating because I'm starting to get the shakes. Not good, you know? Nope. So we're like 90% done, you know what I mean, with the half doors. So we're just continuing stitch welding this. Still got to stitch weld all of this, stitch weld this, and this is already all. I just run a bead down through there just because it's 18 gauge on both sides. Have to weld a little bit on the inside down here. This is what I was talking about with the door latch. So you pull on this, it's gonna unlatch the door, right? So you just make a hoop out here, like that. Booyah. But that's where we stand right now with the half doors. So we're to the point where we're kind of sanding, scuffing the clear coat down. All the welds throughout here have been cleaned up. All looking good, you know what I mean? So now we're gonna take some Bondo and any of these little imperfections, little holes in there, we'll get those filled up. It all sanded. Got the corners all Bondoed. Looking clean. All the Bondo does is just fill in all the little imperfections in your welds. You know what I mean? That's all it is. It's not even on the door or the top. It's just there to fill in the little holes, the little pits in your welds. So let's get to putting the door panel on. So the easiest way that I found to do this is take you a sheet, lay it up here, put it on the bottom edge down here. You know, it's a straight line. Lay the sheet on there and then take it, like if this was the sheet right here, then you come around the front and mark it up under there. I mean, you're gonna have to clean it up just a little bit, but this isn't perfect, you know? Like it doesn't run in perfectly straight lines. It might kind of have a cup to it or whatever. So I already got this one cut. Throw this bad boy on there. Just like that. So is it perfect? Absolutely not. Am I perfect? Absolutely freaking not. So, but it does look somewhat pretty clean, you know what I mean? It does kind of stick out a little bit down here. Might cut that off. But other than that, looks pretty clean. This corner up here kind of tapers like that, so I'm not gonna put anything up here. It should get blocked by the dash anyways. So it'll be like up in here, right up in here. So it should be blocked by the dash. You won't see it with the door closed, you know what I mean? You're not gonna see it at 25 miles an hour, all right? That's where we stand. Still gotta get a piece of 3-inch exhaust pipe for the cup holder, and I'll give you guys a little peek at what I put on the top. You make a decision on what you want to do, but as far as my wheeling style, you know, most of us are all wheeling out in the summer, and I don't want to put my arm down on the top of that half door without something there to protect my skin from the heat. So this stuff right here, I think for like, I want to say it's 80 bucks. I got a 4x8 sheet of this. I mean, I got enough to do half doors for days, right? And there's a special glue. I'm sure you could probably use like 3M's contact glue or, you know, like spray adhesive, but it's not gonna be as clean. Trying to get it on top of that door, it's gonna be kind of a pain in the ass. So the stuff that they sell, I'll put a link down in the bio exactly who I bought this from, but you don't have to get black. You can get red, yellow, orange. I mean, I think I want to say there's like 50 colors of this stuff. So pick the pattern style that you want. You can pick the color that you want. You know, whether you want it to have gray on the inside with black, looks like diamond plate. Everybody always says that this stuff, it looks like diamond plate and it's got to be terrible on your arm. This stuff's awesome, like legit awesome. So it's meant to sit out in the sun, you know, like in a boat hole. So it's gonna freaking hold up to the test of time. That's the finished product. Still gotta cut a hole for the exhaust pipe for cup holder. But other than that, this is as far as this door is going until we get the 4Runner painted. I will eventually put the diamond plate on the inside. I just mocked it up for now until we get this all painted up, and then I'll paint that probably black to go on the inside. Well guys, that is how to build a set of half doors. I still got a whole nother one to build, so I got to get to that, but just know that there's 1,000 ways to do it, and you can cut it however you want. That's just my way of cutting them. But if you want to cut it a certain way to make it look best with your vehicle, then do that, you know. But thanks for watching, and you guys go out and build something cool. And if you want, go ahead and watch some of these videos up here, and we'll see you on the next one.